Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you a question. Have you ever noticed that the most successful people you admire all seem to have one habit in common? They wake up early. And it's not by accident, it's by design. See, most people want success, but they don't want to sacrifice the comfort of the pillow. They want to live a life of greatness, but they keep hitting the snooze button on their destiny. Waking up early is not about the clock. It's about the commitment. It's about sending a message to yourself and to the world that your purpose is more important than your comfort. The mind is the most powerful tool you will ever possess, yet most people allow their minds to be conquered before the day even begins. The truth is, the first hours of your morning set the tone for the entire day. That's why successful people guard those hours like treasure. They understand that the morning owns the mind. And if the morning owns the mind, the one who controls the morning controls the outcome of the day. Too many people start their mornings by reacting instead of creating. They wake up late, they rush, they check messages, they dive into distractions, and before they even realize it, their mind is cluttered with noise. But successful people know better. They rise early, not because it feels good in the moment, but because they recognize the power of starting the day with clarity, not chaos. Think about it. When you wake up before the world does, there's a stillness in the air. It's in that stillness that your best ideas can breathe. It's in that silence that you can hear your vision speaking to you without interruption. Some of the greatest strategies, breakthroughs, and innovations didn't happen in the middle of the noise. They were birthed in the quiet. Intentional hours of the morning. Your mind in the early morning is like fertile soil. Whatever you plant in it will grow throughout the day. If you plant fear, worry, and distraction, that's what multiplies. But if you plant focus, gratitude, and vision, you create momentum that carries you further than most people can imagine. Here's a hook I want you to catch. The morning is not just about time, it's about territory. Every day, your mind is a battlefield, and the first thing you do when you wake up determines which side wins the fight. If you start your morning by scrolling through social media, you've already surrendered your mental territory to other people's opinions, fears, and agendas. But when you rise early and take charge of your thoughts, you dominate your territory before the enemy of distraction even shows up. That's what champions do. Champions take control before control is taken from them. Some people say, I'll get focused once I get to the office. No, that's too late. By the time you get to the office, your phone has already rung 10 times, your inbox is full, and people are already making demands of you. That's why successful people wake up early, because those hours belong to them, not to the world. That's when they read, pray, meditate, plan, or exercise. They feed their mind before the world has a chance to starve it. They build themselves internally before stepping into the external pressures of the day. When you own the morning, you're not reacting to life, you're designing it. Let me make it plain, success doesn't begin at 9 a.m. Success begins when the alarm clock goes off and you decide whether to rise or to roll over. Every time you choose to get up early, you're training your mind to respond to your purpose instead of your comfort. That builds a level of mental toughness that separates winners from wishers. Winners don't let the pillow decide their future. Winners use the morning to sharpen their sword, so when the battles of the day come, they are already equipped. You see, the reason most people struggle with clarity is not because they don't have the ability. It's because they never give themselves the space to think. They never give themselves the space to listen. They're too busy reacting to emergencies to create strategies. But successful people rise early because they know clarity is currency. The clearer you are, the faster you can move, the better decisions you make, and the more influence you can create. Early mornings are not just about being awake. They are about being aware. And awareness is what separates average results from extraordinary results. So here's the reality. If you keep giving your mornings away to the snooze button, you're giving away your mind, your momentum, and your mastery. But when you claim the morning, you claim your mind. And when you claim your mind, you position yourself to win long before the rest of the world has even started the race. Discipline is the invisible thread that ties dreams to reality. Without discipline, success is reduced to nothing more than a wish, a fleeting hope that never matures into results. Successful people understand that discipline is not punishment, it is freedom. It is the ability to command yourself to do what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like doing it. That's why waking up early is far more than a habit. It is an act of self-mastery. Each time you rise before comfort tries to hold you hostage, you are reminding yourself that your destiny matters more than your feelings. Feelings are fleeting, but destiny is forever. And those who choose discipline over comfort create futures that others only dream about. Let's be honest, comfort is seductive. The bed feels warm, the pillow feels soft, and the body whispers, just a few more minutes. But the reality is that every minute of comfort you buy in the morning costs you a piece of your future. The alarm clock is not just ringing to wake you from sleep, it is ringing to wake you into purpose. Discipline answers that call. Discipline is the voice inside you that says, get up, show up, and move up. And when you learn to answer that voice consistently, you train your body to obey your spirit instead of letting your spirit obey your body. That is why successful people wake early, not because they are superhuman, but because they have built the muscle of discipline until it became stronger than their excuses. Here's the hook you need to catch. Destiny is never built on motivation, it is built on discipline. Motivation comes and goes. Some mornings you will feel inspired, and some mornings you won't. But discipline doesn't ask for inspiration, it demands commitment. Discipline is doing it whether you feel like it or not. It is understanding that greatness is not built in one big moment, but in the small, consistent decisions that compound over time. Every sunrise that you rise with discipline, you are stacking bricks in the foundation of your future. And one day, the world will look at the structure of your success and call it amazing. But you will know it was built one disciplined morning at a time. Think about athletes, musicians, or leaders at the top of their fields. What separates them from everyone else is not just talent. It is the discipline to sharpen that talent when no one is watching. It's the early hours in the gym, the quiet rehearsals, the private study, the moments of preparation that nobody applauds, but everybody sees the results of later. Waking up early is one of those unseen disciplines. No one may clap for you when you rise at 5 a.m., but they will clap when your life produces results that set you apart. That's the reward of discipline. The results always speak louder than the sacrifice. Most people lose the battle for success because they negotiate with discipline. They say, I'll start tomorrow or just this once. But successful people don't negotiate with their future. They understand that discipline is not an option, it's a requirement. They don't ask, do I feel like it? They ask, does this decision bring me closer to my destiny? And when the answer is yes, they move without hesitation. That is why discipline builds destiny. It aligns your daily actions with your ultimate vision. And over time, that alignment produces results that no amount of luck or chance could ever create. So when you wake up early, don't just see it as losing sleep, see it as gaining discipline. And every ounce of discipline you practice compounds into strength, resilience, and mastery. The truth is, people don't fail because they lack potential. They fail because they lack discipline to activate that potential. But when you rise early and commit to discipline, you unlock a level of power and focus that makes destiny not just possible, but inevitable. Momentum is one of the most underestimated forces in life, yet it is the very thing that separates the extraordinary from the ordinary. When you wake up early, you are not just gaining time, you are gaining momentum. You are putting yourself in motion before the rest of the world has even begun to stir. That motion becomes an advantage, a head start that compounds with every passing hour. And here's the truth in the race of life. You don't have to be twice as smart or twice as talented as everyone else. Sometimes you just need to start sooner and keep moving while they're still standing still. That head start doesn't just give you more hours, it gives you psychological dominance. You know you're already ahead, and that confidence fuels your performance throughout the day. Think about the feeling of walking into your office or beginning your day knowing you've already worked out, planned your schedule, read something inspirational, or taken time to think strategically. By the time others are just rolling out of bed, you've already created wins for yourself. That creates a sense of momentum that can carry you through challenges, setbacks, and distractions. Success is not built on isolated events, it is built on compounded progress. And progress is magnified when it starts early. That is why the head start matters. It is not just about hours. It is about the energy, the confidence, and the acceleration it creates. Here's a hook for you. Success does not wait for latecomers. The opportunities of life show up early, and if you're not awake, you'll miss them. The marketplace rewards those who move first, those who take initiative, those who don't hesitate to begin while everyone else is still waiting for the perfect time. Waking up early trains you to be that person. It teaches you to be proactive instead of reactive, to lead instead of follow, to create instead of complain. That head start is not just about your schedule, it is about your psychology. It positions you as the driver of your life instead of a passenger carried by circumstances. Momentum works like a snowball rolling downhill. It starts small, almost insignificant, but the longer it rolls, the bigger it grows, and the faster it moves. Your morning routine is the push that gets the snowball rolling. Every task you complete, every goal you hit before noon adds weight to that momentum. By the time most people are just starting to wake up mentally, you are already unstoppable. And the beauty of momentum is that it multiplies. It makes hard things feel easier, and it makes big goals feel achievable. But you can't build momentum if you don't give yourself the head start. Let's take a simple example. Imagine two runners in a race. One starts on time, the other starts 10 minutes late. The late runner may be faster, stronger, or even more talented, but the head start of the first runner creates an advantage that's incredibly difficult to overcome. That's what waking up early does for you in life. It places you ahead in the race before talent, luck, or chance even enter the equation. And once you're ahead, you have the power to stay ahead because momentum keeps you moving. People often underestimate how powerful it feels to stack early wins. Completing your workout before sunrise, knocking out important tasks before distractions arrive, or even taking time to nurture your mind with reading or reflection. These are not small victories, they are catalysts. They create a sense of achievement that carries into everything else you do. It's hard to procrastinate when you've already been productive. It's hard to doubt yourself when you've already proven your discipline at the start of the day. Momentum crushes hesitation, and hesitation is what kills most people's success. So when you think about waking up early, don't just see it as an extra hour of work. See it as the spark that ignites your day. See it as the fuel that powers your momentum. Because once you're moving, once you've built that rhythm, it's far easier to keep going than to stop and start over. Momentum is what makes ordinary people achieve extraordinary things. And the head start you create each morning is the secret that gives you the edge others will spend their whole lives trying to catch. Comfort is the silent enemy of greatness. It whispers in the dark hours of the morning, stay a little longer, sleep a little more, you've earned it. And while that voice sounds harmless, it is the same voice that robs people of their potential, steals their opportunities, and leaves them with lives of regret instead of lives of fulfillment. Successful people understand that comfort is not their friend. It is a trap. It promises ease in the moment, but demands a heavy price later. Every time you choose comfort over commitment, you are making a down payment on mediocrity. But every time you resist comfort and choose purpose instead, you are investing in your greatness. Think about it. Comfort is addictive. The body craves it, the mind justifies it, and society celebrates it. But those who achieve greatness are those who decide to do what others won't. They are the ones who refuse to let the pillow dictate their destiny, the ones who rise when it would be easier to rest, the ones who understand that greatness is always found just beyond the borders of comfort. The truth is, comfort zones are not safe zones. They are prisons. They keep you locked in the same patterns, producing the same results year after year. And if nothing changes, nothing changes. Here's the hook: the path to greatness is paved with discomfort. But that discomfort is temporary while the rewards are permanent. Waking up early is uncomfortable at first, but so is anything worth doing. Growth requires stretching, and stretching is never comfortable. Muscles only grow when they are broken down and rebuilt. And the same is true for your character. Each time you break the pattern of comfort and step into discipline, you are rebuilding yourself stronger, sharper, and more resilient. Comfort weakens you, but discomfort strengthens you. The ones who embrace discomfort today are the ones who will enjoy success tomorrow. Look at the examples all around you. Athletes push their bodies past exhaustion while others quit when it gets hard. Entrepreneurs work late nights and early mornings while others look for shortcuts. Leaders face criticism and pressure while others avoid responsibility. What separates them is not talent. It is their willingness to sacrifice comfort in the pursuit of something greater. They understand that purpose is more powerful than pleasure, and destiny demands discomfort. Waking up early may seem small, but it is symbolic. It is a daily decision to place purpose over pleasure, and that decision compounds into a life that others admire, but few are willing to build. Comfort creates stagnation, and stagnation is the death of progress. When you live in comfort, you stop moving, and when you stop moving, you stop growing. Life was never designed to be static. It was designed to evolve. The tree grows, the river flows, the seasons change, and so must you. If you stay in your comfort zone, you resist the very design of life. But when you wake up early and step into the uncomfortable, you align with progress. You put yourself in the flow of growth, and that flow will carry you into opportunities you never imagined. Comfort also steals time. That 5 more minutes of sleep often turns into 30, and those 30 minutes accumulate into hours, days, and eventually years wasted. Time is the one resource you can never get back, and every time you choose comfort over action, you are letting the most valuable resource of your life slip through your fingers. Successful people know this, and that's why they guard their mornings with discipline. They would rather sacrifice temporary comfort than sacrifice permanent opportunity. So here's the truth you can't ignore. Comfort and greatness cannot live in the same house. You must choose one or the other. If you chase comfort, you will forfeit greatness. But if you chase greatness, you will eventually create a life so fulfilling that comfort will seem irrelevant. Waking up early is not about punishing yourself. It's about proving to yourself that you value your purpose more than your pillow, your destiny more than your desire for ease. And every time you make that choice, you are moving one step further away from mediocrity and one step closer to the greatness you were designed for. The early hours of the morning carry a kind of energy that cannot be replicated later in the day. It is as if the world itself is still, and in that stillness, your body and mind come alive in ways that give you an undeniable advantage. The successful understand this. They know the hours before the noise begins are the hours when energy flows at its purest. Rising early is not just about being awake. It is about aligning yourself with the natural rhythm of the day when your mental, emotional, and physical state is primed for peak performance. While the rest of the world is still asleep, you are stepping into a zone of clarity and vitality that positions you to do more, think sharper, and act faster. There is something almost sacred about those first moments when the sun is rising, when the air is cooler, and the distractions are nowhere to be found. The early hours are the body's reset point, and those who rise during that time unlock reserves of energy that late risers never tap into. Your brain chemistry is different in the morning. Your cortisol levels are higher, your focus sharper, your creativity more fluid. That's why many of the greatest minds, inventors, and leaders guarded those early hours for their most important work. They weren't trying to beat the clock. They were using energy when it was most abundant. Here's the hook. The morning doesn't just give you more time, it gives you more power. Have you ever noticed how a task that feels overwhelming at the end of the day feels simple in the early morning? That's not magic, that's energy. The brain processes information more effectively when it's rested, and the body has more stamina before the demands of the day drain it. Successful people leverage that energy by attacking their biggest priorities early when they're at their sharpest. They don't waste those hours on trivial things. They put their energy where it matters most. And because they use their best energy on their best goals, they produce results that look extraordinary to everyone else. Most people make the mistake of giving their mornings away to comfort and then wonder why they feel tired and unfocused later. They start the day late, sluggish, already behind, and spend the rest of their time trying to catch up. But the ones who rise early set a completely different tone. They generate energy by moving their body, fueling their mind, and feeding their spirit before the world demands anything from them. That energy becomes their fuel for the rest of the day. It's not about doing more, it's about doing better, because energy multiplies efficiency. Energy in the morning also carries momentum. When you experience that surge of clarity and power early, you build confidence with every task you complete. You stack wins before the sun is high, and those wins create the momentum that drives you through challenges later in the day. People who wake up late often feel like they are chasing the day, but people who wake up early feel like they are leading it. That feeling alone changes how you approach opportunities, how you solve problems, and how you deal with obstacles. Energy creates confidence, and confidence creates results. Think of it like an athlete warming up before the game. They don't wait until the middle of the match to prepare. They harness their energy early so they can perform at their best when it matters. Your life works the same way. The early hours are your warm up, your preparation, your time to ignite the fire that will keep burning throughout the day. If you skip that, you enter the game unprepared, unfocused, and underpowered. But if you seize it, You step onto the field of life already fueled, already focused, already fired up to win. So the secret is simple. If you want more energy, stop waiting for it to show up later. Create it in the morning. Use the hours when your body and mind are most alive, when distractions are absent, and when your vision is clearest. The successful don't rely on caffeine to carry them through the day. They rely on the energy they created by owning the morning. And that energy doesn't just change their day, it changes their life. Winners live by a different code. They don't sit back waiting for opportunities to knock on their door because they know opportunities rarely arrive dressed as obvious gifts. Instead, they create them. They understand that the world doesn't hand out success. It rewards initiative. That's why winners wake up early. They're not waiting on permission. They're not hoping someone notices them. And they're not relying on luck. They rise before the world moves because they are determined to move first. That early start is not just a habit, it is a declaration. It says, I refuse to wait for life to decide my outcome. I will create it with my own hands, my own vision, and my own discipline. Waiting has destroyed more dreams than failure ever could. Think about it. How many people delay starting their business until the perfect time? How many put off their health goals until next Monday? How many sit on their ideas until someone else executes them? Winners don't operate that way. They know the perfect time doesn't exist, but the present time does. Waking up early is their way of telling the world, I will not delay my purpose another day. They use those hours to design strategies, build habits, and plant seeds that will bear fruit in the future. They don't wait for conditions to align. They create conditions that align with their vision. Here's the hook. Waiting is passive. Creating is powerful. When you wait, you put control in someone else's hands. When you create, you take control back. That is why early risers so often end up as leaders. They are the ones who move while others hesitate. When most are asleep, they are planning. When most are distracted, they are building. When most are complaining, they are creating solutions. This is why they rise above mediocrity and step into influence. It isn't luck, it's initiative. The early hours are a canvas, and winners treat them like artists treat blank space. They don't wait for inspiration to come to them. They create it through action. Whether it's writing down goals, working on their craft, exercising, or developing new ideas, those first hours are when winners do their most intentional work. By the time others are starting their day, winners already have evidence of progress, and progress builds confidence. That confidence fuels more action, and that action produces results that compound. Creation always compounds, while waiting always diminishes. Think about the greatest innovators, leaders, and entrepreneurs in history. None of them were content to sit around hoping for a breakthrough. They were busy building when nobody else was paying attention. They were working in the unseen hours, the early mornings, and late nights, creating opportunities that later changed the world. What looked like sudden success was actually years of creation in silence while everyone else was waiting. That is the rhythm of winners. They prepare in the dark so they can shine in the light. Most people lose years of their lives because they mistake waiting for wisdom. They tell themselves, I'm being patient, I'm playing it safe. But what they are really doing is hiding from responsibility, hiding from risk, and hiding from the discomfort of action. Winners know the difference. Patience is about enduring the process while you are creating. Waiting, on the other hand, is procrastination disguised as caution. That's why winners choose to act. They would rather fail forward than sit back and watch the clock tick. They would rather try and learn than wait and regret. So when that alarm goes off in the morning, you are faced with a choice. Will you wait or will you create? Will you stay in bed waiting for life to change on its own, or will you rise up and create the life you were designed for? Winners choose creation every time. They don't hope the day turns out great. They design it. They don't pray for opportunities to appear. They build them. They don't wait for momentum to show up. They generate it, and that's why they win. The truth is, the world does not belong to the ones who wait. It belongs to the ones who create. And if you want to join the ranks of winners, you must stop delaying and start deciding. The morning is your chance to prove to yourself that you are not a spectator of life, but an architect of destiny. Winners don't wait. Winners create. And the earlier you rise, the earlier you prove to yourself that you are one of them.